We want to look at the miracle of the ant. And this takes us to Surah An-Naml, the chapter of the ant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed in His book, Surah An-Naml verse 15, indeed we granted knowledge to Dawood and Sulaiman, and they said in acknowledgement, Alhamdulillah, all praise is for Allah, who has made us excel over many of His faithful servants. And Dawood was succeeded by Sulaiman, who said, O people, we have been taught the language of birds and been given everything we need. This is indeed a great privilege. Sulaiman alayhi salam was given something no other prophet was ever given before. That is the ability to communicate with insects. No other human being has ever been given something like this before. And in the 18th verse, Allah told us, and when they came across a valley of ants, an ant spoke out and said, O ants, go quickly into your homes, so that Sulaiman and his army do not crush you unknowingly. And when you look at it, right from the beginning, those who are speaking Arabic, they see right away, when it's speaking about the ant, it is saying, Qalat namlatun, female. Science has now shown us that the majority of the ants who are moving around all over the place that you are basically seeing are all females. They're not males. This is a miracle of the Quran. Imagine now the huge army is coming. Instead of just running away, she calls out to the other ants and said, go into your home, go underground, go somewhere, so you will not get crushed. In other words, that ant was selfless. That ant was thinking about the other ants more than she thought about herself. And this is one of the important qualities that we need to understand about the ants. They communicate with each other. They don't communicate with their mouth. They have antennas. So they're in constant communication with each other. They are amazing creatures. As a matter of fact, we could say the ant is the most successful creature that has ever lived. There are over 12,000 species of ants. For every human being, every one of us, there are 20 million ants. Think about this. The ants are so successful that they live in every single continent of the world except for one place. Antarctica. I don't know why it's Antarctica, but Antarctica, there's no ants. Every single place in the world, China, Europe, Africa, India, the Americas, everywhere in the world, there are ants. You know what's so interesting about them? A colony of ants can be about 10 million ants in a colony, but they will mix with other colonies and they can form what is called a super colony, which is billions of ants. Now, what is the miraculous thing about ants is that even though they are so much in number, they are one mind. All of the ants think together. So when one is thinking and communicating, there's a connection with the other ants within the colony itself. So they function as one body. The scientists show that with their antennas, the ants can produce chemicals, and they can actually tell the other ants there's danger up ahead. They can even show the other ants through chemicals and through their communication how to get to the food. That's why suddenly there was a line going for my piece of bread so fast, because they communicate. They had no cell phone, they had no mass communication, no walkie-talkie, but they communicate with instinct, what Allah Azza wa Jal naturally gave them. And when you are in the ant colony, there is no rebellion in the colony, because they live together. They learn to accept each other and move together as one body. And when the ants pass each other, and that's one thing that I noticed. I look really close at this. Every time an ant crossed another ant, she stops and gives salam. We would say give salams. When one ant is moving across and there's 3 ants, she gives salam to the first ant and then nod to the other 2. So she gave salam to the emir of the Jamaat. And for the rest of the people in the Jamaat, she then nodded to the rest, because the emir will then get across the salam. Think about Muslims today. The Prophet ﷺ said the time would come when there would be a salam al-khas. There would be a specialized salam that people would only give to members of their family or members of their tribe. And we notice this so much in our communities. On Eid day, when people are supposed to be hugging each other as Muslims, they hug one person and then they look for someone else that looks like them. And then they give him salams and Eid Mubarak. And they look for their cousin or somebody else, passing other Muslims. That is what the Prophet ﷺ said, salam al-khas. It's a specialized salam. And he was telling us this in order that we would be more aware of other Muslims. The ants are extremely powerful. You know, one ant can lift 50 times his weight. You could take 5 automobiles, 5 cars, and he can lift them all up if you have the power of an ant. But even though the ant has this power, they do not use their strength against each other. They use it only if somebody who is attacking the colony. And think about it, when we get a little bit of strength, we do a little exercise. We learn a little Arabic. We memorize a little Quran, and suddenly I want to start my own masjid. I want to have my own Jamaat, because he thinks he has a little bit of power. If all the Muslims were united, we would be a powerful block, a powerful body. But when division is between one masjid, one community, one ethnic group and another, then you're just a lot of different communities. But when you have what is called ummah consciousness, the ummah, the nation, the ants have ummah consciousness. There are all types of ants. There's the queen, who is the ultimate female. And the queen is special. And she is naturally the queen. She doesn't have to go to charm school to learn how to be a queen, to walk in a certain way, to talk in a certain way. It comes natural. In some colonies, they even found there are certain ants that have big claws. They're like machinery. They lift heavy things. There are other ants whose bodies are really strong, and they are the ones who go to the front line if there is an attack. So there's all types of ants doing all types of activities, but yet and still they work together. And you know what is one of the beautiful things about ants themselves? It's their character. Imagine one ant can lift 50 times their weight, but yet they are polite with each other. An experiment was done with a group of ants in Argentina, and they made a maze. And they put the ants in the maze so it has little lanes and corridors. And what they did, you're going along a lane and they blocked it. You go another one, they blocked it. And they found out that the more difficult it became is the more patient the ants became. Think about human beings. Think about us if you're in line and people get unruly and start fighting each other. We even experience this when we're on Hajj. It can happen with human beings, but the ants, the more difficult it came, is the more polite they were with each other, because they realized that their success is the success of the Jamaat. It's not just their own success, and being patient is an amazing thing. But sometimes even the ants get angry. And in one case, they evolve according to the situation. There was even an ant in America, in Texas, they said the ant of all ants, and that these ants were attacking electronic devices. They were attacking the computers. And the Americans had to make all kinds of poisons. And when they make the poison, the ant evolves and he defeats the poisons. They said it was the ant of all ants. It was an unbelievable experience that they were having, and to show what the ants can do. Some of the lessons for the Muslims today. Number one, the ants are in submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Excellent character, politeness, hard work, acceptance of each other. Think about these qualities. We need to workshop these. We need to show this to our younger generation. Selflessness. It is said that in the battle of Mu'tah, when the Muslims were facing the Romans, and one of the Sahaba, radiallahu anhum ajma'in, he was wounded and he was calling out. He was calling out for water. And they came to him, and then he heard his brother. And so he said, don't give it to me, give the water to my brother. And they went to the other one, he was calling out, and he went to the third person. And when they reached him, he had died, shaheed. They came to the second, he died, shaheed. And they came to the first, and he was shaheed. Selflessness. How you think Islam spread so rapidly? In 100 years, Islam had entered China, far north in the Caucasoid Mountains, deep south on the Swahili coast, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. 100 years. Thinking in one mind. This is not easy. There may be some differences amongst us, but at the end of the day, we are all Muslims. We are the people of the Qibla. And we need to be able to look at each other for that which is similar instead of that which is different. I was in one country, I won't say which one it is, and the Imam read the Salat, so beautiful, Salat al-Maghrib, and I said, Ameen. I was the only one in the mosque. But when they finished, they said, where's that shaitan? Where is it? And they came to get me and they said, brother, why? I said, get Sahih al-Bukhari. And you will see that the Sahaba said, Ameen so loud, it shook the building. So you have the right to be silent or the right to say aloud. All of it is allowable within Sunnah. See, that's what knowledge can do. And so this unity that we need to have, I call it operational unity. And that is, we have Muslims from different schools of thought, we have different Islamic movements, but we need to have operational unity. We learn to work together. If there's a difference, we discuss amongst each other. If we disagree, then we agree to disagree. But we still love each other and we still protect each other. That is the example of the ants. In a poem it said, courage isn't always a lion's roar. It's also the silence of ants working patiently, persistently, and never giving up. That is courage. To continue to work, to strive to overcome our differences, to think in one mind, to submit completely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our Muslim world now has the potential to be the leaders of the planet. But if we continue as different ethnic groups, the rich and the poor, even different Islamic movements, then we will continue to be conquered by alien enemies who will have no mercy on us. And so I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bless us to have this feeling and understanding of the ants. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise up in our younger generation those who can break down differences and those who can appreciate other Muslims and appreciate people of other faiths and nationalities as well, so that we can bring this world from darkness into light.